Dude, man, what the hell going on, man? Tell me what the hell going on, good people. Hope y'all having a good day, blessed day. And it's your boy Rex. Nah, I be thinking like, what the fuck wrong with this nigga early in the morning? But anyway, we're gonna watch this NepoBaby video. Yeah, I guess it's just hip hop like kids that think they from the hood or want to be. Coi Leray got a fucking plug in the head. They want to be, they just want to be down for the cause, I guess. But anyway, we'll hop into the video, which is crazy. These motherfuckers want to be from the hood, and I want to be from the community.
Coi Leray, constantly making headlines recently, I thought it would be a great time to discuss hip-hop's NepoBaby problem. Typically, rappers dream of the day they have finally made it out of the mud to make sure that their kids can have a better life than what was afforded.
We want to make it out of the hood, and they want to make it out of the gay community. It's crazy. That is crazy. They want to come to the hood. That shit is backwards to me. That shit always backwards to me.
To them. So what happens when these same children that were born with gold spoons in their mouths try to make it on their own while acting like their parents aren't
Then we watch them grow up not in the hood. It's the craziest shit ever. Nigga, we seen you come out that gated community. What are you talking about? You from the hood, especially this nigga. I don't get him. He just lost me. I don't know what the hell he be doing.
A big part of the reason they made it in the first place. It's your boy Luesta, and if you like weekly video documentaries like this one, make sure to subscribe. Let's start with someone whose father's empire might be crumbling at the moment, but has left his son with some massive shoes to try and fill.
It's gotta be crazy, and since we talking about King,
he gotta rebrand if anything.
In the bloodline, and I'll ask King this as well. Just in the bloodline, is there an expectation of what he has to do?
I'm hardcore on
I can imagine.
You know what I'm saying? Like I'm gonna be honest, it's almost like affecting our relationship.
Can you jump on over here real quick, fam?
I know it's hard for him.
Ladies and gentlemen, my son, the heir to the throne, up next, and one of the freshest, dopest, newest MCs in the game. His real name is
Christian. I think that Diddy had that boy lined up. That was the problem. You just let him start from the bottom, work his way up to the top. But Diddy had that man doing features with everybody. And the songs was ass. That just is what it is. That people don't care who the fuck, your the father is. They want to see, can you actually rap? But this nigga, when he's saying the same shit his daddy was saying, if I'm not mistaken, I think I heard one or two songs. Like, they weren't the best, but he tried, so shit. A for effort.
It's Christian Combs. He goes by King Combs.
Christian Combs is one of Diddy's 4 kids, with the on-again, off-again love of his life, Kim Porter. Ever since he started dropping music in 2016, he's been insistent that he'll be the one to carry on Bad Boys' legacy and tried to get his father's blessing.
I know I got big shoes to fill, and I know what I have to do, and the day I brought it up to my pops that I really wanted to take it serious and be a rapper, entrepreneur. He told me like, yo, you can't do this and be playing around with it. You really gotta focus and be about this. Like, you can't play at all. Like,
since then, Combs has insisted that he's the man to bring the once great label into the next generation because he's the heir to the throne. Bad boy, that's my life. That's the legacy I was born into. I've always been a bad boy for life. I want to take the legacy to the next level and make a name for myself. Despite the fact that he's grew up in the lap of luxury, Combs has spent much of his career collaborating with street artists ranging from 03 Greedo to Pop Smoke, who he claims he was with the night before he died. He was like, yo, you gotta keep doing what you're doing. You're doing your thing. I see you. You're hard. Combs claims Pop Smoke told him. That's just something that stuck with me because he didn't even have to say that. He didn't have to say anything, and he just made it known that he rocked with.
Hey. We don't know. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. But I'm calling cap. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. But I'm calling cap. That man ain't told you that shit. He probably did, tell him. He probably did, so.
Me and what I was doing. Whether or not this story is exaggerated, it doesn't change the fact that he got a feature on Pop's first and best received posthumous album, Shoot for the Stars, Aim for the Moon, on the track Diana. Unfortunately, it was on what was easily the worst rated track on the album. Rather than just trashing the song, some people simply weren't buying the fact that Pop would have even signed off on it, and that he was only on the track because of his pops.
They released it because his fucking dad, Pop Smoke died. So if Pop Smoke didn't die, I'm quite sure that shit would probably be on there. 100%. What the fuck, Dean? What the fuck?
I think there's a few features on here that wouldn't be on here had Pop been alive. I don't think King Combs would have been on there. I'm not saying he shouldn't be there. I don't think that he would have been on there had Pop been alive. I don't think that record would have been.
If you want to protect your trademark, go to trademarkia.com. Trademarkia, the world's most trusted company in trademark registration.
Protect your brand with Trademarkia. Register your trademark on
on the album, period. I think he would have scrapped it.
Even though he's got features with everyone from Chris Brown to A Boogie with the
A
Hoodie,
normal
and
nigga would
even
not
his
get these
father's
features.
girlfriend Young Miami, King Combs may have the roster on his side to act like a star, but the numbers just don't quite add up. To date, he's still only pulling in under 500,000 Spotify listeners per month. And despite this, Combs has still rejected the idea that whatever achievements he's reached had anything to do with what he was born into. Before talking about how much he's putting on for Bad Boy the next
My
minute.
nigga got on 2 hats.
Not really. No,
What the
heavy
hell?
is the head that wears the crown. So you got a big legacy to fill up too. And right now, Bad Boy be #1. Let's go, bitch. Feel like I'm blessed. You know, we're gonna take the legacy bar further and further.
That nigga
Bad
got
Boy
a
to life. You know what it
do-rag on
is.
with 2
Can't stop,
hats.
won't stop, never stop. Just stop hating. That's it.
There has
That
been
motherfucker's
one
old
real
shit.
bright spot in his career so far, which is when he briefly topped the hip hop airplay chart, which, if you're unfamiliar, is decided upon by what's getting the most spins on the radio, rather than how much the average listener is streaming it. The song that got him there was titled Can't Stop, Won't Stop with Kodak Black,
Well, his
which
dad
not
be
only
saying that
used
shit.
one of his dad's favorite catchphrases from back in the day, but samples an old Lil Kim and Lil C's track. Still, King Combs celebrated this like it was a platinum record.
Taking over. Listen, can't stop, won't stop, Bad Boy. We got the song of the summer right now. #1 song. Pop's got R&B, I got hip hop.
You're saying to the naysayers.
Yeah, you know, it's earned, not given.
Yeah.
You know, we gonna prove it. Proof is in the pudding.
Still, after the interview
shit.
dropped, people stayed skeptical of what he could do without his dad's name or catalog. He has no creative voice of his own, though. All of his songs are samples or remakes of his dad's. Sir, every song you use is a sample of your dad's. Stop it. He wouldn't have cleared those for anyone else. The privileged want to
Exactly.
be unprivileged so bad. His whole career is built on cosplaying as his father. But while one NepoBaby named after royalty is on good terms with his father and reaping the rewards of using what he built, the same can't necessarily be said for King Harris. The 19-year-old son of T.I. and his former R&B star wife Tiny, King basically
Nigga, the money don't act like this, nigga. Who's the middle one? I forgot him. But the money don't act like this, nigga. At all. The money act like a whole nother goddamn child.
grew up in front of the whole world, as he appeared alongside his family on the VH1 show
Lemonade,
T.I. and
$50
Tiny,
crazy.
The Family Hustle. But somewhere along the line, he started acting out and behaving like his name carries weight in the streets. So for the past year, he's been making tons of headlines and
For the
never for
wrong
the right
reason.
reasons. King first popped back up in people's minds when he was seen behaving like a spoiled brat at a Waffle House because they dared to mess up his order.
Out here. I'm outside. Okay. I'm outside. Come on, shake some. Come on, shake some. Come on, shake some. Hey, get your employees. Get your employees.
Almost immediately, he got clowned by the entire world for his entitled ways, and it even led people to look at T.I.
Damn.
and Tiny a little sideways. I don't care what I've done, how much money I've made, how many chart-topping songs I've made. If my son grows up and talks to people like that,
Definitely a
I'm a
failure.
failure. To
Definitely
the
a
embarrassment
failure.
of T.I. and his wife, this only was the beginning of King trying to act tough online. And things got worse when he responded to an attempted robbery of his family in Colombia.
Boy, they think they gangster. They think, boy, come walk these streets, man. This shit get wicked. They like, be safe. I'm like, what the f you mean? Be
Shit
safe?
get wicked.
That sun go down? Well, I don't know what they got going on over here.
As he was constantly trolled for pretending as if he grew up in the trenches, King tried to clear up that he didn't really think he was a thug at all.
And people confuse standing on business as you being a thug, a gangster. I ain't that. I just stand on business principle. I stand on respect, disrespect. That's what I go off of. So it ain't a nigga trying to be hard or gangster. Nah, it's just how I'm raised and what I can take and what I'm not taking.
Seen as someone who's basically a self-parody rather than a man to be taken seriously, his rap career hasn't helped things either. Putting out music under the name Kid Sayin', King labeled himself the new king of the South, but the music hasn't taken off at all. And he's been clowned for his attempts and the gun-toting lyrics
Yes,
in his
sir, we
music.
gonna make it
Must
out
have
the gated
forgot we
community
watched
with
his
this
whole
one's
childhood on
crazy.
TV. It's funny someone should mention his upbringing in a lavish area of ATL, because this is clearly a point of insecurity for for King. This desire to be from the hood really boiled over during a recent trip to an Atlanta Falcons game, where he and his family got into a very public conflict while they were there. In the process, King tried to say that he only spent his childhood at his grandma's because he wanted to be in the streets, only to get absolutely ethered by his own mom.
I don't want to be in these gates. I want to be outside in the neighborhood. That's why I want to be over there. But they don't understand.
That is the most craziest shit ever. I want to be outside in the neighborhood. I would love to stay in a gated community. I would love to stay in a gated community. What the hell he talking about? But as a kid though, staying out, it was outside the projects, probably the most funnest time I had, cause you had a whole bunch of motherfuckers that just like having fun. I'm staying in the gated community. You probably had you know about 5 or 6, but compared to motherfucker like 30, 40 kids just having fun outside, water hydrant and shit for the summer. That shit was fun. I wouldn't trade that shit for the world. But gated community, hey, I would love that shit too.
I'm gonna tell you the reason why he want to be over there. Y'all ready? Cause he can suck and pacify over there. He was 12 years old.
Eventually manhandled out of the way by his dad after he pushed his mom, Tiny might have just ended her son's rap career before it could even really take off. Because once it's made known that you had a pacifier until you were out of grade school, there's just no way you're ever going to be taken seriously, let alone more successful than your father, who really made it out of Bankhead to become a star. But while King could kiss goodbye to any chance of escaping his dad's shadow, one NepoBaby who's managed to surpass her parents' level of success is Coi Leray. The daughter of former rapper, The Source owner, and noted Eminem victim, Benzino, Coi exploded out of nowhere and initially managed to keep the news that she was related to Zeno under wraps. It wasn't until a Vlad TV interview that the notorious media personality brought it to the public's attention, where Coi Leray began to downplay how close she and her father were. It made it as if she had a rags to riches story.
My dad or whatever, you know, when I got 9, old enough to really start understanding things, money wasn't flowing like how it was. When I moved with my mom, things were different. You know, food stamps, having to work at 16, finding a job. I dropped out 10th grade, just really had to just figure life out, you know, and it also humbled me.
Throughout her career, Coi already has more Billboard hits.
I'm quite sure her daddy probably said that ain't happen. That ain't happen. I'm quite sure that nigga was doing something. Something, goddamn. He wasn't doing nothing. That just fucked up, but you know, she bigger than him now, so hey, she won. Her father, in,
including collabs with Nicki Minaj and Lil Durk, has claimed that her dad wasn't really around and that she had to scrape by with everything.
It was hard to eat. My mom was picking up nickels and dimes, and then I would see father. Like,
everybody love a good sad story.
You know, he was even when the love and hip hop and all.
I don't know if it's real or not.
At the same time, I'm like this. How you get to live this life and we over here struggling?
To really rub salt in the wounds, she also suggested that her dad envied her success and that it had strained their relationship.
At first, it was rocky because I felt like he couldn't handle my success. I felt like it did come from an envious place, which is okay because he's human and it's fine.
Alongside Benzino claiming that this was the biggest pile of shit he'd ever heard and that he was tired of people pushing a false narrative about who he was and what he's done as a father, he's since gone on record to publicly discredit her story about having to scrape and claw in her youth.
She said she slept in cars. Coi never slept in no car that I knew about. You know, I had my daughter 5 months out the year. I was with her mother until she was 9, and I had her from 9 to 16, 5 months out the year. She'd be with me. She lived with me twice. She lived here in Atlanta with me, and she went to Campbell High School. Like, I was a single dad, and I was taking care of my kids, all my kids, and her 2 older brothers by 2 other men that wasn't mine. So when I'm watching this, I'm just looking at somebody, she looked like she's almost brainwashed. You know, like, she ain't never slept in no car and sold drugs and all this. Like, I don't know why she's running with this narrative.
Despite occasional attempts at reconciliation, the two just can't get back on the same page ever since she's gotten famous. She's literally even said that she was embarrassed to be his daughter and that she didn't want anyone to know. Over time, Benzino has responded in kind, even mocking her album sales. But despite all of the posturing from both parties, Benzino hasn't been able to hide that the whole situation does get to him.
I got thick skin, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm one of them people like, let's just forget it, move forward. I went through a lot, man, and it was hard for me, you know what I'm saying, to be looked upon as like, I've been caught all kinds of with a deadbeat dad. Come on, man. I love my daughter. I don't want to be that. I don't want to be known as that. Like, I don't care what people think, but that hurt me. That's my daughter. I raised her. When people say I hate on Coi's career and jealous and all this, that's like, man, like, it's evil. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Because my love is huge for that little girl, man. That's my little girl, man. You know, people see us arguing on the internet. It ain't nothing that I'm proud of.
Was it hard, though, not speaking to her during that period?
Of course. This whole thing was one of the worst things I've been through in my life. I've been through hell.
While Coi has claimed that Benzino wasn't there to provide for her, one person that certainly never had that issue is Jaden Smith. Whether you know him as an actor, rapper, artist, or the guy who wore a Batman costume to Kanye and Kim's wedding, Jaden Smith has had every advantage of...
This nigga wore a Batman costume to a wedding is crazy. But that fit him. Shit. But, yeah, Courtney and her and Benzino, that shit is crazy. That shit is wild. Them niggas is wild. I don't understand that shit, but hey, it is what it is. But Will Smith, son. Hey, sorry, Jesus Christ. He had everything when he was young, so I don't understand. I think he tried to put out an album about like trying to be like one of them cool woke people or some shit. That's all I remember. I don't fucking remember. I didn't even listen to the shit. It might have been a cool album. I don't fucking know.
Afforded to him. As the son of one of the most beloved individuals in pop culture, or at least he used to be, as he completely ruined his reputation after slapping Chris Rock. Everyone knows Jaden Smith is the epitome of what being a spoiled kid is like, and even popular celebrities such as Donald Glover essentially called him a NepoBaby before that phrase was even invented.
He is the first rich black kid, really, like, of royalty, where people are like, you're Will Smith's dad. He's the most visible example of it. He has room to fail. That's what it is. Like,
and it's safe to say that from time to time, he has done just
tried
that. At certain
everything,
points, he's even managed to make himself into a laughingstock in ways that other people wouldn't recover from. The star of films like Karate Kid and The Pursuit of Happiness alongside his father, it initially seemed like Jaden was destined to be a major movie star. But over time, he decided to try out music. I didn't receive any intriguing offers, so I figured, why not explore my own path instead? Launched with 2 self-released EPs before he signed a deal with Rock Nation, Jaden's rap career hasn't been exactly critically acclaimed, including his debut album Sire, with famous music critics such as Fantano stating,
like, in general, this record is fake deep. There's just too much filler. There's too much awful moments. There's too much completely drab, boring, average, run-of-the-mill, trendy, thoughtless, and middlebrow songs on this thing for it to truly be entertaining and worthy of the runtime.
But while his music being seen as pretty mundane is one thing, it's how out of touch he is with reality that really cements the idea that he's everything wrong with the NepoBaby generation. Across Twitter and in interviews, Jaden has proved that he thinks he's a great thinker, when most of the time, he's getting clowned for his ego. We don't think a lot of music out there is cool. Jaden once said about himself and his sister, Willow, so we make our own music. We don't have any song that we like to listen to on the PCH by any other artist. You know? A self-proclaimed icon, Jaden has reached a point where whenever he opens his mouth, he just seems more and more out of touch with reality.
I am very happy that I spent my childhood with more adults than I did with kids my own age. Because I was picking up more things from adults than I were from kids my own age. I'm just like, dude, like, oh my god.
So he was never a
Can we
kid.
talk about like the political and economic state of the world right now?
Oh, hell no.
Can we talk about what's going on with the environment? Can we talk about other things?
A man who has the self-belief required.
So he was never a kid, basically. He want to talk about fucking the ocean and shit. Nobody want to talk about that shit. he want to talk about the trash in the ocean. He want to talk about. What the hell he talking about? He was definitely probably a loner. I say a loner. But I mean, probably like you said, he hung with adults, so they probably like talking about that shit. So yeah, he would have made it well for talk about shit like that. We ain't got time. We'll talk about that later. But right now, let's talk about something else.
to be a star but doesn't have it all figured out, he once suggested that some of the biggest artists in the world were threatened by him. During an interview with Complex, I always felt like little homie before, and that allowed me in all of their circles, said Jaden. But now that I'm on the charts next to them, I'm not really little homie anymore. It's more like, you can't hang out with us anymore. We didn't know you were making an album this whole time. We thought you were just little homie, giving us free water and shit. You're not really cool with us anymore. Forged by a childhood where he got everything he ever wanted and never heard anything but positivity, Jaden is at a point where he's proven to everyone that he is exactly what they assumed he was. A deluded rich kid. But in some ways, it's hard to blame him. This kid has clearly lived in a bubble his whole life, where he was told how brilliant he is. And with all the money in the world to help him, you can see why he turned out this way. With his mom Jada now public enemy #1, and Will's reputation tarnished by everything that's gone on, now would be the perfect time for Jaden to finally escape his parents' shadows. But unless he moves fast, he might be seen as just another NepoBaby, who couldn't accomplish more than the ones who brought them into the world, because they've never actually had to fight or struggle for anything they've ever gotten.
Yep, that is true. Everything was handed to him, so he probably had yes men everywhere. He probably don't know what the hell a no is, so that probably fucked up his mind. But yeah, Will Smith, I like how Will Smith ain't really said nothing that I know of in a long time what Jada been doing to him, because that shit is crazy. She come out every day and say some crazy shit, so she ain't been saying nothing crazy lately. I ain't been seeing shit on the news, but yeah, some of the Coi Leray probably the best one out of all these, because she did come out of nowhere and she did do her thing, and she still doing her thing. But who else on the list? I can't remember these motherfuckers, but yeah, they King, I think he's still going crazy. I ain't heard of him in a while. The Money, what the hell The Money doing? The Money, he about the coolest one that be chilling, that really don't be in shit, just making good music and just chilling out. So yeah, I like this video. This video actually, stood out. But hey, like the video, like, comment, subscribe, share. Peace.